It is Paul with LSP Data, where we focus on niche data to help you find your next off-market deal. And in this video, I wanted to touch on our pre-foreclosure subscription or platform. And we're also really excited because we're releasing a nationwide subscription. So that way it gives you access to all of our counties and states that we have available. It's not complete yet, but we're still working in that as a work in progress. But just to give you a quick rundown, if we jump into the platform right away, this is Harris County. As you can see, we're providing you a lot of that county level information, right? So regardless of whichever platform you use, commercial products, the data comes from the same place, right? It's just who does it better and quicker. We like to think that we do it quicker. And also, again, our background is data, so we're able to get you this a lot quicker and obviously tell you what this all means, right? So in previous videos, I made a couple of videos to tell you, what does this all mean, right? So every county has certain events that take place. So even when you first purchase a property, right, you get a deed of trust. Later, if you're doing a mortgage modification, let's say if you're falling behind payments, you can also do a modification loan, right? If you're selling the property, etc. So the point is that everything gets recorded at the county level, right? And when we talk about pre-foreclosures, well, that has a lot of other meanings, right? Depending on the platform that you use, again, I kind of touched on this in the past, but some of your favorite platforms, right, may have this type of documents around pre-foreclosures, which to us, they're fairly limited, right? Again, they cover the entire nation, entire states, entire data sets, which we don't do, right? And again, I'll touch on that why in a second. But again, we're providing you what we think it's relevant. And we know as a real estate investor, a lot of you have years and years of experience, right? I'm not talking about those individuals that watch, a get rich quick video, right? And everyone sort of watches the same YouTube gurus here. And unfortunately, a lot of this is, young men that are trying to get, rich quick, right? I don't blame you. But at the same time, I'm working with investors and real estate individuals that have, many years of experience. They know their niche. And a lot of times they end up doing this process manually, right? So a lot of those folks get a lot of value from our platform because they're doing things manually. So it's a lot easier for them to come here, select, which document or instrument types are, more relevant to them, right? And it's as simple as searching for them, pulling the records, right? And just being able to skip trace it or do marketing to them, mailing and whatnot, right? So again, super easy to pull this data. I'm not going to show, the individual's name or anything like that here, but you get all the information that you need very quickly. So for me, when I started doing investing in real estate, I wanted, figure out what is the quickest way to start marketing. And that's when I was building these platforms. I had that in mind, right? I don't want to go to a platform and access millions of records and apply the same filters that everyone does, right? Absentee, owners, high equity, etc. Great filters, but again, that is not the intention of our platform, right? So going back here, just wanted to give you that, right? So our data subscription is built around what we call signals, right? And those signals, the basis of it is that county clerk data, right? Those list pendants, those documents that are truly going to lead to a pre-foreclosure, right? And again, here in previous videos, I made a video just explaining what this all means. And a lot of this is what is a time frame before the foreclosure or auction happens, right? And that's what we call it pre-foreclosures, right? And again, depending on your expertise, your experience, right? This may ring a bell to you. For many of you, you probably have additional documents that you're interested in, right? there's a lot of things like mechanic liens, things or like HOA, right? Things that you wouldn't think would lead to a foreclosure, but they do. And again, many of you, that is your bread and butter, and that's where you find your competitive advantage, right? Which is, for me, it's really exciting because I learned this a lot when having customer calls, right? But again, our focus is not to show you millions of records and then sort of filter down from that, right? Our focus is to give you a start, right? So what you see on the platform, like, so this is Harris County. There's about 50,000 records, right? If we access other Texas one like Dallas or Bexar, right? Similar, right? Even though we know there's millions of parcels or properties in these counties, that's not what you're gonna find in our platform, right? This one, there's 65,000. Again, the center of the platform is this documents, right? You don't need to know what this all means, right? Many of you know. You probably, search for it in ChatGPT to give you a little more context around what does it all mean in the context of a pre-foreclosure, right? Which one of these document types would be relevant for pre-foreclosure? Maybe tell me the ones that you're 100% confident, 90% confident, and some of them that may give you early indicators in that something's happening, right? Because everything boils down to a life event, right? As you know, and the smart investors will reach out early to solve problems, right? You're not going to be that desperate wholesaler that's just calling with the same script of like, I'm buying houses in your area. I know some investors, right? Which you don't. So a lot of the smart investors, again, they take their time, they see what the situation is. And by the time you reach out to the property owner, right, you're there to solve a problem, especially because a lot of individuals are going through, whether it's financial issues, loss of a relative, etc., right? So again, that's the difference between folks that pull list and they don't get results versus those that are a little more methodical and you're reaching out, one, with the intention to help, and two, you have a lot of context, right, that we're providing as well. So long-winded answer to say that if you're looking for, thousands or millions of records, that is not our platform, right? But if you're looking to be more precise, more targeted, right, and have additional context in what is the situation, right, then our platform may be a good fit for you. And again, I'll give you a quick use case, right? So let's say you log into the platform. Our data is refreshed on a daily and weekly basis. It just depends on the county. So if you're not so sure what, obviously some of this is very straightforward, right? As you can see. But we've also added this pre-foreclosures bits, right? Where we're helping you search for what we think are pre-foreclosures, right? And then you can see that these ones are selected automatically from that. So we're basically filtering this for you to try to make it a little bit easier. Again, that's just our suggestions. If you know better, you can just clear the filter and select from that long list of instrument types, right? So if you search, then this is, the results, right? There's about 24,000. Always sort by the county date because these are, again, the core of the platform is that, right? Everything else is additional indicators, right? So now after this, if you want to start filtering down, that's up to you. But what we mean is this. So here, let's say if you're looking for, if you're scrolling down, you know that this particular parcel had an eviction about 2 months ago or less than 2 months ago, right? This is the address. I'm not going to go further, right? But this just gives you additional indicators, right? Like a lot of you call it list stacking, right? You can technically go from here, and let's say if you just wanted to look for, properties that had sort of that eviction as well, or tax suits, right? You can search for that. Obviously, that's going to go lower, right? And now all of those have had some eviction. And on top of that, you can see other ones that had also initialized foreclosure processes, right? Some of them also may have been tax delinquent as well. And now for some, not all of them, we're also giving you a little bit of the violation, aspect as well, which is really nice because again, now if we were to call this individual here, well, we know that they had, this assignment instrument type. We also know that they had some sort of potential code violation, right? And they've had an eviction earlier this year. So again, that's the level of sort of knowledge that you would get, or intimacy, before you get in the phone, or by the time you send a mailer out, right? So again, every county has different data that we're providing, right? As we extend our data sets, we're gonna add more context, and that way you get additional, context on what's happening in that particular property, right? If we jump for other ones, they may not have this level of context, right? But you're still gonna get pretty good information again, because the core of the platform is that, right? So like, let's say in Florida, we're showing this. Again, I'm going to zoom in so we don't show ownership information here. But anyways, I wanted to sort of, give you that explanation of why, we're not showing you everything. So if you do decide to sign up, or if you find the platform confusing, right, I wanted to just provide you that bit of context, right? Again, the county instruments is where the value is, because we know that's where the pre-foreclosures are, right? So if you don't know what pre-foreclosures are, that's basically that list, right? This is a list of that. Again, I'll link the other video that I made in the past in which I cover a lot of those, because there is a lot, right? So even here, list pendants, appointment of trustee, modification, bankruptcy, abstract of judgment, right? Liens, federal liens, etc., or homeowners association, right? Again, this is years and years of research, and instead of building a platform like PropStream or ListSource or anything like that, right? Again, those are amazing products and they have a target audience. That is not our target audience, right? And again, because we focus on niche data, we're able to give you at times better data and more timely and more context, right? Because we're tapping into other data sources as well. And just to kind of keep it simple, right? We think that more targeted is better than just providing you with everything, right? And again, at the end of the day, all of you are looking for motivated sellers, right? That's why when we jumped on calls, it's really difficult for me to drive this point, right? Because you're trying to use the platform the same way that you're using the PropStreams, the ListSource, and all these other ones, but that's not our intention, right? And honestly, if you come with that mindset, you're gonna find it very difficult, because maybe a lot of you just want volume, right? You want to target everyone because you have unlimited budget. That's fine. We have the ability to provide you with tens of thousands of records every month, and we can work that out with you. But for the sake of our platform in general, we believe that, building this, making it super easy for you to come here and export, data, skip trace it, and focus on the marketing, right? Focus on having those conversations with potential sellers. That is where you're gonna get the most value from the platform. So I hope that kind of makes sense. Again, many of you already know where the foreclosure, pre-foreclosure data goes, right? You may be doing it manually. You may be hiring a virtual assistant to help you scrape it, or maybe you're going through the PDFs and extracting that information manually, right? So if anything, our platform is going to be time savings, right? And again, if you're interested in, you can sign up here in the county lead data sign up. Basically, this is our pre-foreclosure one. Again, not all states are available. So again, some of them are still coming soon, but Florida, Texas, a few of them, like here, Arizona, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Iowa, and we're still growing the platform, right? So you can either sign up for state subscription, and here's the pricing. So individual counties, this is the price, state subscription as well. and now our new nationwide subscription. So regardless of whichever subscription you want to do, right? Let's say you decide to do a state subscription, right? It's $99 a month. Regardless of which one you do, you can always type LSP data to get a 7-day free trial, right? Or if you wanted to do that, the individual county subscription, this is the pricing, right? Or if you wanted to do our new nationwide subscription, because maybe you're doing virtual, everywhere, right? Again, just LSP data and 7-day free trial. If it's not a good fit for you, no worries. Cancel before the 7 days, right? But I'll leave it at that. One last reminder is we have a free Skool community. So if you have any questions about our platform, or you want to interact with our real estate professionals, we also post projects around AI automations. So if you have any questions about your real estate business, we can always answer it. If not, just come in and say hi. I'm going to be putting more projects around AI automation with real estate, and hopefully get a lot of value from that. But again, thank you for watching, and if you're interested, sign up for a free trial. And obviously, as always, we love the feedback. And if you have any questions, just add them below this video. And thank you for watching.